Welcome to Fan Fave with Katrina. Fan Fave with Katrina. It's time to talk pop culture.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Katrina, and this is Fan Fave, the ultimate pop culture podcast for fans of all forms of entertainment. If you love music, television, film, theater, or anything in between, you're in the right place. Hello, we are back with another episode of Fan Fave on a different day also. How interesting. No, I was working the Democratic National Convention this week for my day job, so now I finally have time to sit down and do this episode. And it's interesting because the DNC was in Chicago, and the thing that we're talking about on the podcast today was also in Chicago. I know it's been a while and things got super busy with school because I'm extra and decided to take 2 classes in the summer, and the summer is accelerated. But whatever. This episode is also, unfortunately, the season finale for now. I'm taking a break to do more episodes and produce them in advance and whatnot. I know it feels weird to be gone and then come back and say I'm back, but I'm leaving again. But I'm sorry, this was always supposed to be the finale episode. It's the episodes in between that I fell off from and canceled. I was supposed to do an episode about Guts Tour, Olivia Rodrigo. If you follow on Instagram, you saw about me going to that. And then we also were supposed to have an episode for Moulin Rouge's 5th anniversary, but we'll just do a congratulations and leave it at that. It was midterms, and then I got pretty sick and was not good for a whole month. And then it was finals. So yeah, I'm here now because then after finals, I went off to Lollapalooza. And so we're going to talk about that today. But the good news is that this podcast totally is not ending, and I'm just taking the break so that I can do a bunch of episodes in advance because I am in school and I do have a full-time job. So when school gets started in the fall, I'm not going to be super overwhelmed because I'm trying to do it all at the same time. So consider this season break the break so that there are no more random breaks. And I'll be back before the end of the year. And also, we have the newsletter, Pop Recap newsletter. It will not be on a break. I will be still doing that every week. So if you want to subscribe to that, you can check that out during our little hiatus. And I use the word hiatus. I shouldn't use the word hiatus because historically, every person that I know that goes on a hiatus never comes back. But I will be back. So this is just a break. But the Pop Recap newsletter comes to your inbox every single Sunday, and you can subscribe to that at poprecap.beehive.com, and that's spelled funny. It's Beehiiv, Beehive. So as I just mentioned, today's episode is a recap of my trip to Lollapalooza. It's a music festival in Chicago. I think it's the biggest music festival on the East Coast. This year was actually their 20th anniversary of being held in Chicago. It's 100,000 people go every single day. It's a 4-day music festival. It's pretty massive. I referred to it as the Coachella of the East. I don't know if that's the right way to compare it. Obviously, there's no camping at Lollapalooza like there is at Coachella, but I think just in terms of the grand size of it, it kind of is, but it is only one weekend. But it's 4 full days of super fun music, and I'm going to talk all about it. So for those that don't know, Lollapalooza was actually my very first music festival. I had been to one-day music festivals before, but in terms of these big music festivals like a Gov Ball or a Bonnaroo or a Coachella, Austin City Limits, I've never been to one of those. But by definition, I have been to a type of music festival. I would call Jingle Ball a music festival because it's a bunch of different artists performing on one stage in one night. It's kind of like a festival. It's not a specific concert. I've also been to music festivals with my mom, but they were 1-day music festivals. So they weren't really it was just almost a big concert that they were calling a festival, but it wasn't to this scale. I've never been to something like this before. And I've always been pretty mixed about whether I really wanted to because large crowds intimidate me. And I always saw the big pictures of the crowds and it being general admission. It was always yeah, I just would rather see my favorite artist when I can just buy a ticket to sit and see them, or in a regular GA setting. I just always kind of looked at it kind of like how I look at stadium shows. It's I'd rather not, but I would. And then I learned about VIP opportunities and how you can kind of be in your own little section and just I'll talk about VIP later, but when I learned about VIP, I realized that, hey, maybe going to a music festival is manageable for me. And so I was kind of maybe I do want to try one, just to do one. I feel even though I felt like I wouldn't fully enjoy a music festival because it's just not the style of concert that I like going to, I was kind of like, you know what, I wouldn't mind trying one just for the experience to say I did. So for those that don't know, I feel like I talked about in the past, I was actually planning on going to Governor's Ball, which at Governor's Ball, I mean, I was really mainly interested in Sunday, but I know Sabrina Carpenter played like Saturday, and then Sunday was like SZA, Chappell Roan. At the time, it was Victoria Monet was going, and Renee Rapp, and so it was a pretty good lineup at Gov Ball, and it's in New York. Like, it was pretty accessible and easy for me to get to, so I was planning on going to that. But for those that don't know, my day job is actually journalism, and I am a journalist. And there was this conference, the National Association of Black Journalists conference, that was actually happening in Chicago, and I was interested in attending that. And then at the same time, my friend she went to Lollapalooza last year. She just went like the one day to see Lana Del Rey as like a grad gift for herself. But then this year she was like, she's going all in. And so she decided to go all 4 days. And she had kind of been asking me like, hey, you should go, you should go. And I was like, I don't know, like that's a lot. It's in Chicago. And then I saw that the National Association of Black Journalists Conference is happening the same exact, literally same exact days as Lollapalooza. But not even just that, Lollapalooza was in Grant Park, and that's kind of like downtown. And it's like a huge park, and on the side of the park is a bunch of hotels. And it just so happened that my conference was in a hotel, literally, I kid you not, right across the street from Lollapalooza. In fact, like if you were exiting from like the T-Mobile stage, it was like a little bridge. It took me directly door to door to the hotel at the conference. So when I saw that, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. And do it. That's what I did. I went to the National Association of Black Journalists Conference, but I also split my time there with the Lollapalooza Music Festival. And it was so much fun. I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to just like give a little day by day run through. And then I'm also going to talk about things that I learned, but I might talk about it like mixed in with my day run through, like some little takeaways. And then I'll also do like a little separate section for that. So yeah, let's just get into it. Day one of Lolla was kind of like the big day for me, Thursday, actually, which is weird because I feel like music festivals, typically, it seems like their Saturday and Sunday would be the best days. But for me, Thursday, just straight up starting off the bat was the best day. And I was kind of nervous about that because it's like, I don't even know how this place is set up. I'm already like getting there towards the afternoon anyways because I'm going to be at my conference all day. So I can't like go early and scope things out. And I just had to like just go into it and see like all of these people back to back to back. And that's what I did. I got in like shortly before Tyla, and I went to like the VIP lounge to like, they had like a VIP lounge where you could like fill up your water. We had private bathrooms, and we also had like giant fans. And so I met up with my friend there, and we like took pictures and hung out. And then we went to T-Mobile stage. I'm going to be mentioning the stages. T-Mobile stage and Bud Light stage are the two headliner stages, and they're on the two opposite sides of the park. The Bud Light stage is actually like the like sub headliner, if that's even the proper word. Like the bigger headliner of the two headliners goes on T-Mobile stage, and then the slightly smaller Bud Light stage is for the second headliner, even though they perform at the same time. But for example, Megan Thee Stallion played on T-Mobile that night, and then Hozier was the headliner also. He played at Bud Light. So it's kind of like that difference. And then in between, there's like 6 other stages, I want to say. In between there, I think IHG stage is like the next step down from those. And then there's Tito's stage, Bacardi stage, and BMI stage are kind of like 2 of the smaller artist stages. BMI is like the smallest, and then Bacardi. And then Perry's stage is the EDM stage for like all of the DJs and stuff. They play like rave music all day long. Not really my cup of tea. I actually didn't see a single set at Perry's, which wasn't even my plan. It just ended up that way. I was going to see Zed, but I'll talk about that later. But yeah, Perry's stage was the EDM stage. That's kind of like your little overview of them, I guess. That's the only stage that has a specific genre. The rest is really just about crowd size. But Tyla, she was playing T-Mobile stage at 3. And for those that don't know, obviously like the biggest thing that happened on Thursday was Chappell Roan, and she had the biggest crowd of all of Lollapalooza and maybe the biggest crowd in Lollapalooza history. So T-Mobile stage was where she was playing, and it was already pretty crowded. I had VIP, so we just kind of walked in right when Tyler was starting, and we got like a really good view. And Tyler was a lot of fun. I mean, she came out on top of like an inflatable tiger, a gigantic inflatable tiger. She did all of these hit songs that like I didn't even realize were hers. Like I feel like I thought Tyler was just like a one hit person, like she just had water. But then I realized she had so many other songs that I know, like Truth or Dare or like Jump. I feel like I knew, but like I didn't like realize like, oh wait, I really do like that song too. Like I didn't realize. And her set was just really fun. A lot of choreo, you know, the dance that they'd be doing on TikTok. She did the little dance and she was just a lot of fun. Like I really enjoyed her set. After Tyla, I actually left to go like fill up my water bottle and stuff. It was hot because on T-Mobile, it was like the sun was beaming on us and I made this stupid mistake to leave my hat at home. So it was just sun like burning me up and I put on sunscreen and I still got burnt. I think because like I had makeup on, like lots of mistakes. I had makeup on from the conference and then I put the sunscreen on top of that, but then I was sweating off the makeup and I think the sunscreen might have dripped off with it and then I wasn't wearing a hat. So it was kind of rough standing there. Like I really felt like I was roasting, waiting for Chaperone to come out. I even like sat down for most of it. And I only waited like, I guess I was there like for 45 minutes before her set. The VIP was so empty, you literally could walk right up to the stage. Like if you saw she had a catwalk, we literally just walked right up. Like we had no issue getting super close for Chaperone, which was crazy because, you know, a lot of people were queuing and camping in the general admission session, but we really had no issue. And it was so exciting because like everybody's like watching, like we saw that she was kind of doing the wrestling theme before she came out because like for the drummer, they put like the ring, I don't know what it's called, like the little ropes for like the wrestler ring. They had put that around the drummer's stage and they were bringing out like the little punching bags. Like I was like, oh, she's doing like boxing or wrestling. Like we were playing Guess Who She's Gonna Be. It was so much fun. And when she finally came out, you guys, the energy was just everything. Like she was definitely one of the best sets of the entire weekend. Like not even just like I say always like her interaction and like the way that we dance along or like scream back the words like hot to go or like the chants in Femininomenon, like all of these really fun things that happen as a part of her set. But it was just like so much fun. And like there's a part in Pink Pony Club that was one of my favorites to hear live where like the crowd sings the chorus back and it was like all of these people. It was just like the best feeling ever. I wrote about this a little bit in my newsletter too, and so I have to say some of my favorite songs to hear live were probably Picture You, After Midnight. Also, she sang The Subway, which is an unreleased song that she's been doing at the festivals and stuff. That song is just incredible, you guys. But the set was so much fun. I was dancing, singing along. I talked about like this a little bit too in the VIP section. It was not super packed, and so I was able to really jump around and dance, and it was just so much fun. And so I would say that was one of my favorite sets. And then right after Chaperone, she wasn't supposed to be on the T-Mobile stage at first. She was supposed to be on the IHG stage, and then she actually swapped places with Kesha. So then Kesha came right out after Chaperone, and she was on the IHG stage. So everybody just like turned around to see Kesha. Luckily, we could like just walk through the VIP lounge because I heard that was one of the worst transitions at the festival. Like it was like a massive like crowd of like people pushing and like just really uncomfortable, but we were able to kind of get around that and we saw Kesha. She was a lot of fun. I feel like once you made it through the crowd, it was pretty cleared out because we went like around and then we went to like the back of the crowd where it was kind of more empty so we could like sit down in the grass and chill out. But her set list was really fun. A lot of really old classics, songs like TikTok and like Timber, her song with Pitbull. My favorite one to hear live was probably Blow, and it was so funny because she started it with like, you know, the clip of Kamala Harris where she's like, you think you just fell out the coconut tree? For some reason, she used that as the intro to that song. I will not understand the correlation, but you know, it was really fun to hear Blow live. You know, I kept joking about it like it's like that episode of Victorious where she sang it, like that was classic childhood. So I would say Kesha's set was very fun. And then after Kesha, we saw Labyrinth, which he pretty much plays. I mean, he has other music, but it seemed like most of his set were songs from Euphoria. And so that was kind of fun. And I just like sat on a hill and just chilled out watching his set. But I did enjoy that. And then after that, I realized that I hadn't eaten. And this is kind of where my day went left. I was like, let me go get food. And so my friend, she had gone to see Lizzie McAlpine. And so she was on that side of this like stage area, I guess. And I had wanted to see Benson Boone. So I was still like I went over to that side. To explain, Benson Boone was like on the T-Mobile side of the park. And I went to the Bud Light side of the park to get food. And for some reason, the food I ordered, they told me because I wanted like wings, and this was like later in the day, they were like, actually, like, they don't have any wings right now. They have to cook them, and it's going to take like 5 to 10 minutes. And I was like, okay, fine. Like, I can wait 5 to 10 minutes. It ended up being literally, I kid you not, I was waiting there like 45 minutes. So, and it was like really bad. A lot of people were complaining and getting refunds and stuff, but I was like, I have to eat. So like, I completely missed Benson Boone. To be honest, I probably like being on that side of being on that side of the park. Like I could have even seen Flo instead if I didn't want to walk all the way back over there. But I missed them too. Like I missed like everything. And it was like I was at the stage for Hozier, but I had literally just gotten my wings when Hozier started. So I watched his first like 2 songs from the VIP lounge, just sitting in a chair where I could see the stage from there eating my wings. And the wings were gross. They were $20 and I threw them out after like half picking on them and ran into the VIP section to watch Hozier's set. And you guys, Hozier's set was so good. I mean, first of all, like I saw him on tour back in May, and his set list did change a little bit in between there. He actually added Angel of Small Death and the Codeine Scene back on the set list, it was one of my favorite songs that he had back in like I was probably like 14, like I don't know what year that was, like 2015. But like I never heard him sing it live because it's like his first album, and he added it back on the set list. So that was a nice surprise. But then he also premiered Nobody's Soldier, which was a brand new song. I mean, it's out now, but at that point, it wasn't out at all. I think he had put out a teaser, but this was his very first time singing it live. And it was such a surprise because it was literally like the 3rd song that he did. So it was like, what is going on? But his set was so much fun, and it started raining a little bit, like storming. And I was so nervous because apparently if there's like lightning, I don't know what the exact mile radius is or whatever, but if there's lightning in the area, like Lollapalooza will evacuate. And they sent out a text. They were like, weather is in the area, keep updated or whatever. And I could literally see lightning, like lightning was there. And so I was like so scared that his set was going to be cut short. It was lightning over us, and it did like rain, but it wasn't like terrible rain. But I just had so much fun during this set because I moved up. The VIP section is pretty spacious and like people aren't cramped together. So I was able to kind of like walk up towards the front of this stage like during my favorite songs. But then other than that, like I've seen Hozier pretty up close. I was in the pit for his last show, so I was kind of like chill. I didn't really care like that much to be like standing all the way up at the front, and I actually stayed towards like the back of the VIP section, which was like an open field essentially. Like it was a huge area, and so I was just back there like dancing. You had so much room to like literally run around. Like there were like this guy and his son, I'm assuming they were like playing catch with like a little ball. Like it was that much space. And so like Francesca and all of these other songs that I love hearing, like I was just running around, dancing, jumping. Like it was so much fun to just have that room and just watch his set and enjoy. You know, when I wanted to, like my feet were killing me. So for the slow songs, I would like sit down and watch. And it was raining during Movement, and I feel like that was just like the vibes. Like I feel like if you're gonna see an artist in the rain, Hozier has like the rainy day music vibes, and so I enjoyed it. I felt like it matched up really well. But you guys, here was the dilemma. Hozier, and it was supposed to be Tyler, the Creator. Those were supposed to be the Thursday headliners. Now, nothing on Tyler, the Creator, but I don't listen to him. I think I know like one or two songs. I remember when he performed at the Grammys, and he did like the Earthquake, and don't even ask me what the other song is. It's the one where he's like screaming. But those are the only two songs that I knew by him. So like when he was on the set list or on the lineup, I was only planning on seeing Hozier and staying at Hozier's set. But then Tyler, the Creator, dropped out. So he got replaced, and he got replaced by Megan Thee Stallion. Well, I like Megan Thee Stallion. And so I was like, how am I going to split this set? So I had looked at Hozier's set and I had looked at Megan's set, and I said, I forgot. It was like, I think like halfway. Hozier started at 8:30 and he ran until 10, and Megan started at 9 and ran until 10. So I was like, if I left Hozier around 9:30, which would have allowed for me to hear most of my favorite songs by him, I would have missed like Movement and I don't know, whatever, like his bigger songs, I guess. And like Movement is probably the only one I would have really been upset about missing. But those songs, I would have missed like the last 30 minutes of his set, but then I would have seen the full second half of Megan's set. That was my plan. But what I've noticed, because I think I talked about this when I saw him at the May concert of his, he changes his set list like a lot. So like it didn't really affect me when I saw him in May, because like I had nowhere to go. It was just kind of like, oh, I can tell he's kind of switching it up a little bit. But here, I think I had measured for me to be like leaving after he sang Too Sweet. Like that was like an hour into his set. But he did like like a fully different order. And it threw me off completely, because then by the time he got to like Nina Cried Power and like, I think it was around that point, like I was like, you know what, I think I'm supposed to be leaving right now, but it's so out of order, I can't even tell. And then he got to Movement. It's like, okay, well, I was going to go, but I might as well stay because this is my favorite. And then he was on like Take Me to Church. And I was like, wait, he's ending. Like he ended a little bit early. So that's what got me. But it was like, I was trying to leave, but he kept singing the songs I really wanted to see. So I got stuck at Hozier because I wanted to hear these songs, and I didn't leave when I was planning on, because he switched up the set list and it threw my plans completely off. Because when he started singing a song I wanted to hear that I thought I was going to leave before I got to hear that song, I was like, well, I might as well stay for this one. And then that just kept happening. But let me tell you, the funny thing is, Lollapalooza is like mad loud. Like it is so loud, to the point where I was staring at Hozier's stage, and you know Hozier has like softer music, you know, like not like crazy like bass booming, like yelling, like Megan Thee Stallion. So when he was singing his softer songs like From Eden or Cherry Wine, like the soft, just the guitar songs, you could hear Megan. Like there was one part where I think she was singing Girl Is in the Hood, and I could literally hear her from that side of the stage. And it was so funny because it's like so distracting. It's like Hozier's up here singing this like really sad song, but I hear Megan having a party and I'm dancing with Megan in my head, and I hear Hozier at the same time, because like you could literally do that. And I had the same thing. I'll talk about this later, but I had the same exact experience watching Leve while Renee Rapp was on. So that was like a common thing, but I thought that was funny that you could literally hear her all the way. And I was at the very, very front of Hozier's stage and I could hear her. But Hozier did end early. And see, this is another thing. They're supposed to end at 10 o'clock, the headliners. But I heard that the T-Mobile stage, which is like the bigger headliner, they let them go over a little bit because they like to like let the people at the Bud Light stage get out. Like, so it's not 100,000 people trying to leave and enter the streets at the same time. It's kind of like a little delayed thing. So I thought like maybe Megan Thee Stallion would go over a little bit. And Hozier ended early. So he ended at like literally like 9:45. He ended super early, like 10 to 15 minutes early, I think. And so I was like, okay, like that's plenty of time. Let me just go over to Megan. I could have hopped on like the VIP golf cart thing. And I was like, I feel like I can walk faster, because the lines got long like later in the day. They were longer and you would have a wait. So I was like, I don't think I should go all the way around the corner here to see if there's a line. Like, I'm faster walking. So as I'm walking, I hear like her do Savage and the Mamushi song. I don't know. And then I get there and it looks like she's ending, which I was like sad. Like she's ending at right at 10, like right at the time. But then like my favorite Megan song, I guess I liked a lot of her old music, and I guess that's another reason why I wasn't like fully drawn to go to her set over Hosier's, is I like a lot of her older music, and I saw her in concert in 2021, and that was kind of like the era of her music that I really, really liked, was like there and before then. And like her more recent songs I haven't really gotten into, but the one song that I really, really, really like is Boa for some reason. And she was I'm from DC. She was here days before Lollapalooza for another music festival, Broccoli City Fest. And I know her album had just come out. So she changed her set list a little bit when I had looked at it, and she had, unless it was inaccurate, she did not perform Boa in DC. So I was kind of like disappointed by that, because I was like, oh, that's the one song that I would really, really, really want to hear. And so she's ending and I'm like, oh, we must have missed her. And then she's like, thank you so much, Chicago. Like, y'all want to hear Boa? Something like that. And I was like, oh my gosh, perfect timing. So I got to hear Boa live, and that was fun. And that was literally like the only part of Megan's set that I really saw, but I'd say it was worth it. But that's just proof of how hard it is to split sets at Lollapalooza. But that was my first day at Lollapalooza. I'd say it was probably my favorite day out of the 4. Not that the other 3 days were bad, but it's more so just like, if I had to tell you like all of the artists that I wanted to see, like my top 5, 3 or 4 of them were on Thursday. I mean, Chaperone, Hosier, and then I did want to see like more of Meg, but those were probably like 3 of the main people that I really wanted to see at Lollapalooza. And then the others rounding out my top 5 were Tate McRae and The Last Dinner Party, who performed on Saturday and Sunday. But for that many of my favorite artists to be front loaded onto day 1, like day 1 was really, really strong of a lineup, and it was just a very fun day that, like, minus my chicken wings getting messed up, there was no frustration, no headache. Like, I was kind of nervous about how big the park was and how I just kind of had to jump right into it, but it was really fun, and I think that Thursday went well. Now, Friday, on the other hand, Friday was kind of messy for me. Like I said, I was in town for the National Association of Black Journalists convention. So Wednesday I was at that conference, and then Thursday I was at that conference, and then I I was at the conference at like 8 a.m. on Thursday, and I was there, networking and going and sitting in sessions before I went to Lollapalooza. And then I was at Lollapalooza until like 10:30. And then I went back over to the conference because my mother is also a journalist, and she was like doing this red carpet event thing, and her event was not over when Lollapalooza was over. So I was there until like 11, and I didn't get back into my hotel and in bed and settled and all that until like midnight, maybe after midnight, just to proceed to get up the next day and be back at that conference at 8. Huge mistake. We'll go into it, whatever. I was at the conference at 8, and I stayed there, and then I went over to Lollapalooza later that afternoon. I ate in between, but quite literally, I was already burnt out from day 1, Thursday at Lollapalooza. Feet are tired. I'm very tired, but I tried to push through. So Friday, I wanted to see Blue the Tiger, but I had some sessions that I really wanted to do at the conference, and so I actually didn't see her regular set. And so I got there a little bit later and caught Ray. Ray was the first artist that I saw there. And it's very funny because I really like Ray's music, but I think I talked about this on the podcast. I really like her song Genesis, but apparently that's not even like one of her most popular songs. And so I was kind of surprised, like, her other songs that like people really knew, like the big hits, because I really just like that song. But it was nice to see her live, and I liked hearing that song live, of course. And she's really talented. Like, I love her voice. She kind of has like this jazzy pop tone, and she kind of bends through a bunch of different genres. So she was a lot of fun. After Ray, I kind of like hung out in the lounge again and met up with my friend. We saw a little bit of Sexy Red, but it was kind of like just a lot. And I wanted to see Victoria Monet too. So I saw like some of Sexy Red, and then that was the first time I think I rode the VIP cart thing over just to get over there faster. And that was in terrible conflict, to be honest, to have both of them at the same time. I think Sexy Red had a humongous crowd, and so did Victoria Monet. And it was like they kind of draw a similar audience of like R&B and hip hop. So it was kind of like sucky that they were the same time, but both were really good. Victoria Monet had a lot of dancing, obviously, in her set, and she was just a lot of fun. After Victoria, I went to Renee for like a few minutes because I wanted to see her, but it was another painful conflict with Leve, who was on at the same time. And at this point, I was very tired and I kind of had a headache. So I decided to leave Renee rap. I was going to like split Renee and do like 50-50, but I was like, I just kind of want to chill out. I'm kind of tired of like this loud music. Like I have a headache and I was tired. So I rode the cart over to Leve where it was very chill and I could kind of sit down and rest. And Leve was really, really great. I was really impressed by her. I mean, I wanted to see Leve because one, I like her music, and two, I just thought it was gonna be like really cool because she had a full orchestra with her. So she played her set with the Chicago Philharmonic, and that just like I love live orchestras. Like I'm from DC, so whenever I get to see a show with the Kennedy Center Orchestra, I'm like, this is gonna be so good because it just adds like another punch, like a powerful kick to the music. It's so good when there's like an orchestra involved. I feel like it just improves the music by 100. And Leive's set was just proof of that. It was so much fun. I mean, she's like a little Disney princess. Like her vocals are just like so relaxing and soothing. And she brought out Ray also for a song, which I feel like their style of music really just complements each other really well. Like Ray was probably the best guest that she could have brought out. Like that was almost like just genius. And they were really great together. This was definitely one of my favorite sets of the weekend, so I was glad that I got to check out Leve. After Leve, though, by that time, I'm like really beat. Like I'm like tapping out, you know. I was sitting down at Leve, I would walk a little bit and I would stop. And then I would walk a little bit and I would stop. And I went to see Megan Moroney because I had also like noted down that she was like a really new country singer. And I'm somebody that does like country music. So I was like, you know what? I kind of want to see her set. And she was really good. I like stood for a little bit and then I sat down. But see, here's my other issue. I suffer from like serious allergies and like it's very dusty at Lollapalooza because of like it's like on a field. And so like on the T-Mobile side, there's like baseball fields, I think, underneath. And with everybody like walking and jumping, it's like literally like in the air. And so it's recommended. I saw like people said like to bring a mask or like a bandana because of how dusty it gets. And I brought that. But like at the same time, I was like hot. And so I wasn't wearing it as much as I should have. And so I didn't want to sit on the grass and like make it worse. So I would do more standing on my feet and then my feet would hurt and then I would sit down and then I would stand back up and then I would sit back down. So it's kind of a lot and I was just like getting really burnt out. And so then after Megan, I was like, I really want to stay and see SZA. And I just was like walking around waiting for SZA to come out. But I was just like, I was beat. I keep saying this, like I can't even like describe it how exhausted I was. And so I actually ended up leaving because I just couldn't hang. I saw a little bit of Stray Kids while I was waiting because there was like a moment when I was just like at the fountain and I just like sat down and I saw Stray Kids start and I was like, okay, yay. Like that's how close I was to seeing SZA, by the way. Like that was like 8:30 and she was supposed to come out at 8:45, although I heard she was late. I don't know by how much. Not as bad as the people I'm about to talk about on Saturday, but I know she was late. And so I just tapped out though. So that was probably my biggest L of the weekend, is burning myself out so bad in the first 2 days that I did not get to see SZA. And I tried not to feel bad about it because I've seen her live before, but like, I don't know, this was her festival set. Like I really wanted to see it. But I was too tired. There was no way I was going to be able to enjoy it in any way, shape, or form. But I also forgot though about Friday. I did see, I mentioned Blue to Tiger. They had like these little side stage things. And so I missed like her main set, but she did like a second DJ set in like this little hut. I don't remember who was the sponsor for it, but it was like a little room. And so I did see her there and she was good, you know. But that was just like another set that I saw somewhere in between. I don't even remember what time it was. Like I was just doing a lot of walking and it was very exhausting. So that's like my takeaway lesson is that, well, one, I probably just like paired with the conference. It was a lot. But also just like make sure you take your breaks and sit down and whatnot and eat. Because Thursday I really did not eat at all. And Friday I didn't eat until like 2 o'clock. Like I didn't eat for like a full day just because I was like busy and wasn't thinking about food. Like that was another mistake. I was malnourished and then I was on my feet too much and I was tired. So I enjoyed the sets that I saw on Friday, you know, like Victoria Monet, Leve, Megan Maroney and all. It was still a decent day, but it didn't go as smoothly, I'd say, as Thursday. Saturday, I rested a little bit more in the morning. And that was good for me, but you know, I still went to the conference that I had, and I was at the conference. I kind of did a little bit too much on Saturday because I was at the conference, but I really wanted to see this band, The Quarters of Change, because when I first bought my ticket to Lolla, like I bought a 4-day ticket. At first I was just going to buy like 1 day or 2 day. And then I was like, I want to see Tate McRae on Saturday. And she was literally the only set that I was going to see on Saturday. And her resale for her tour here in DC, the prices were like $300. And I was like, why do that if I could just, I'm already in Chicago, like a Lollapalooza ticket is cheaper. Like I just was like, I'll just see her at Lolla. So that's kind of part of why I extended to get a 4-day pass. And so I was going for Tate McRae mainly on Saturday, but I had discovered this band, Quarters of Change, and they performed at like 2 o'clock, but Tate didn't go on until 7. And I was kind of like, well, I don't want to stay from 2 to 7. I kind of want to like go back and forth. So I was at the conference and then I popped into Lolla to see Quarters of Change. They were a whole lot of fun. You totally should get into them. I feel like I don't know how new or recent they are, but they're not like super mega popular. But they have some really good songs. Like their hits are probably T-Love and Kiwi. But yeah, I wouldn't say I can't really compare them to like a specific band they remind me of, but they're kind of like pop rock, but still like rock. Like they're a band. But I really enjoyed their set. It was a lot of fun, even though they didn't play Kiwi. I was kind of looking forward to the Kiwi solo. I know they did like an after show, which is like Lollapalooza's after parties, but I didn't go to that. So yeah, but other than that, it was a pretty solid set. I did think it was a longer set than what it was. I think it was only like 40 minutes, and I thought it was like an hour because I was like, dang, I literally went over to Lollapalooza like in business attire from the conference just to see their set. And I was like, dang, it was only 40 minutes. But it was fine. And then after that, I went back to my conference and did more conference things. And then after the conference, I changed clothes and came back in for Tate McRae, who was so much fun. It was not my first time seeing Tate McRae either. I had seen her in 2021, I want to say. I think it was 2021 or maybe 2022. It was at Jingle Ball, and I think it was 2021 because I didn't go to a Jingle Ball in 2022. It was when she had You Broke Me First was like her hit single then. But yeah, I feel like she's changed a lot since that era and like released a lot more dance heavy songs, which works really well for her because she's a phenomenal dancer. And that was like one of the highs of her set was just like how like energized it was and all of like the big choreo moments. Like even with like Guilty Conscience, I love that song. That's one of my favorites. But obviously like the X's Dance Break, which is like so iconic, seeing that live and in person. And then at the end of her set, she teased new music, which I was confused by at first because I was like, what is that? Like, I didn't even know because, you know, like the sets are so back to back. I didn't even know if it was like somebody coming on after her, but it was like somebody texting on the screen. So new music is coming. But I know at the time of like recording this, she just played like Madison Square Garden. I didn't really like look into it that well, but I know like I think she might have performed it, or I know she like teased the text thing again. So I think it's soon. New Tate music soon, I think we can say. But her set was definitely one of my favorites. It was already one of my top 5 most anticipated. And it was a lot of fun, like dancing around. And like, I forgot, I didn't even talk about like my outfits. But like, I wore like an Adidas fit and she wore an Adidas fit. I was like, I know that's right. But Thursday, I wore Midwestern princess themed. For Chapel Roan, I wore like a pink top and camo skirt. So that was like my look there. I posted pictures, I think. But yeah, I tried to coordinate outfits when I could. I didn't every day. On Friday, I wore blue for SZA because water. But you know, that didn't end out well because I didn't even see SZA. But my outfit was SZA inspired for Friday in good intentions. But anyways, on Saturday, after Tate McRae, I was planning on seeing Future and Metro Boomin. And it's so funny because my friend wanted to see The Killers. Me and my friend Gabby, like we saw some sets together, but we bumped heads on a lot of the sets. Like we just had these conflicts and she wanted to see somebody that I didn't really care to see. And I wanted to see somebody that she didn't care to see. And so we would split up every once in a while. And this was one of our splits. And it was so funny because I literally said, like, I would put money down that Future is going to be late. And I was literally like, I wonder if I should just come with you to the Killers because Future is going to be late. And you guys, it wasn't even funny. Like, I don't know how late, like, it had to be like 30 minutes. He was so late. I left. I rolled out. I was done. They were so late. And then I heard, like, I don't want to talk bad about people, but a lot of people said that was like one of the worst sets ever. That they were late and then they didn't even really like, well, Metro Boomin is a producer, not a rapper, but Future didn't really rap live and it just was like an underwhelming set. So I'm glad I didn't stay. But I was kind of disappointed about that because I mean, I like Future. His music's good. You know, he has the hits. I was looking forward to his set and it was just like he was too late. And I was kind of like, should I have gone to see the Killers? I don't know any of their music, but I heard that their set was really good. I mean, I know Mr. Brightside. And initially my plan was to see Future and Metro Boomin and then leave like 15 minutes, like at 9:40, 9:45, the Megan Thee Stallion plan, but I would have actually done it. And gone to see the Killers just so that I could see Mr. Brightside live because I feel like jumping and dancing around to Mr. Brightside at a music festival, you know, that's an experience you need to have. Like, that song is iconic. It's literally for jumping around and screaming the words. But I left. A common theme with my weekend at Lollapalooza, I left. But I'd say Saturday was good. It just wasn't like as many people that I was like pressed to see, I guess. Like I really was there for Tate McRae on Saturday. So that's why I say like Thursday was the most stacked day for me. And every day after that, it kind of like was fewer people that I was pressed to see, even though like there were a lot of good people there that like I enjoyed, but like wasn't my favorite artist, I guess. And then Sunday was the last day and I was done with my conference at this point, but I had family in town as well in Chicago. And so I went out to like a little bit of a brunch and we also like sightsaw a little bit. I guess I didn't even talk about just like being in Chicago. I loved Chicago. It was a really nice city. It was my first time being in Chicago. And so with the conference and the festival, it was kind of hard to fully sightsee and really take in the city. So I definitely would like to go back, but I did make it to, I don't know, it's like the Chicago Pier, the Navy Pier or something like that, where the Ferris wheel is and stuff. I went there and it was really nice on the water. It was a lot of fun. And then of course I saw the Bean. I saw the Bean like a million times. I went to the Bean. Every day I went and visited the Bean because it was right there. But yeah, like I really enjoyed what I saw of Chicago and like Lollapalooza in general. Like it's such a nice like view, like sitting back, especially like just watching the sunset at night with like the city skyline and like the stages. Like I took some really cute pictures because just how pretty it was and being on the water and such. I really like Chicago. But yeah, I went to brunch in the city and then after that I went to the festival because Sunday was probably, like I said, like it was like a dwindling down list where Sunday there was literally just one act that I wanted to see, and that was The Last Dinner Party, who was rounding out my top 5 of most anticipated for the weekend. They're a British band. They're so good. I feel like I've talked about them on the podcast before, but I was really excited about the opportunity to see them here at Lollapalooza because they've never, well, for one, they're brand new. Their first album came out this year, so what I'm about to say is like, duh, obviously. But they've never come to DC. They did do a tour, but they didn't come to DC. And I think they had like dates scheduled for the rest of the year, and it's like all Europe stuff. So like this was my only chance to see them this year, I think. And I was really like, I really love this album. So like I'm excited to be able to see them here. And me and my friend, like my friend is the one that put me on to them and got me listening to them. But their set was so much fun, like all the songs live. I think that they got a set extension. Like I think their set was only supposed to be 40 minutes too. And their stage got moved to the Tito stage, which I was dreading. I was not feeling the Tito stage at all because it's in direct sunlight. It's so hot right there. But like I survived, you know. I queued a little bit. Like I queued for like 30 minutes to an hour maybe because I was there for like the entirety of Vince Staples. He was over at the Bud Light stage, which is right next to Tito's. So I guess I saw him too. And I also saw some other people. I'll talk about them as well. I saw Teddy Swims. This was just me vibing because I didn't really have a plan on Sunday other than to see the last dinner party. And this was kind of like my last day. This was the first day that I even saw half of the pop-ups and stuff that was there. Like they had like an M&M's thing, Tree Hut, like all these brand activations that I never explored because I was running in between sets and stuff. But this was like my day to explore and just like check out stuff. I bought some like last minute merch and yeah, desserts. I love the dessert alley that they have. They have so many dessert restaurants. I got like snow cones like 3 days in a row. It's just so much to do there. And so like I was just kind of taking it in on the last day and just kind of being chill. But I did see Teddy Swims because I was familiar with a couple of his songs. And I was like, you know what? I feel like he will be good. I saw some people recommend him. And he was really great. Like, I didn't know a lot of the songs that he sang, but it was like kind of like a feeling where like I wanted to go online and like listen to them because they were good. And he had really great vocals. Like, he was really talented. And I'm not surprised now at how many hits that he does have because I feel like he's an artist that kind of came out of nowhere. That's like a thing. Like I just started hearing him on the radio like randomly a lot, like out of the blue. But other than that, like his music is really good. So like I get it. And then I also saw Mimi Webb, who like I just saw because I was just there. And I heard that like sometimes the best sets that you see are the ones that you just like randomly go to. And so she's a British pop artist and she makes really fun pop music. Like it kind of takes me back to like 2015, 2016. And I know that's not like that long ago, but she just kind of has like this very like fresh pop sound, like a Zara Larson or like Dua Lipa's first album type of pop sound. So it was like really good. Like I like that type of music and she was fun. I really liked her set. So I recommend her. But the last dinner party, they were so good. I mean, like I said, I think their set got extended. So I basically heard the entire album live. And then they also did a cover of Blondie's Call Me. But I have to say, like, my favorite songs to hear live, probably Caesar on the TV screen, because it's so fun. Like, it's literally like a song that's to be performed live with the dramatics and everything. And then obviously Nothing Matters, which is like their lead single. On Your Side was also really pretty live. Like there were some songs that like weren't necessarily my favorites. I wouldn't say I dislike them, but like they're not the ones that I listen to a lot, like some of the slower songs that they have, but hearing them live kind of changed my opinion on them. So that was fun, but they were definitely one of my favorite sets of the weekend, and they were the perfect finale to my weekend and just like all of the artists that I saw. And then I did see Conan Gray a little bit while I was leaving, but I'm not like a super big fan of him, so I didn't hang around long because I only know like Heather and the other one, Maniac. Those are the only two songs by him I know. And I was kind of ready to go because I was leaving early Monday morning and I hadn't packed and all that stuff, and this was like 7 o'clock already. So I kind of rolled out after that. I think I got like one last snow cone. Like I said, those snow cones were good. If you got like the blue raspberry and the lemon lime mixed together, that was good. That was like my snack, especially as hot as it was over on Tito's. But that was kind of like the finale or the conclusion to my Lollapalooza weekend. All in all, it was really good. It was a lot of fun. And I saw like all of my favorite artists. It was like really, like, I feel like it changed my perspective on music festivals because I felt like music festivals would be big and overwhelming. And obviously, like, I did tire myself out in the first 2 days, but I think that was also like a side effect of me also doing a whole like conference at the same time, and just like all of the running and stuff and how early I was waking up. Like, I think that if I was just doing the festival, I could have like slept in and caught up and then I wouldn't have missed SZA. But I did like multitask, and it was a very productive weekend. Like, the conference was really great as well. But I do think that that combined with the festival was a little bit of a much for me. But other than that, like, yeah, I think I wouldn't go non VIP to a music festival because I think the VIP also just like altered how comfortable I was, like, just in terms of like the space that I always had at the stages, and like the easy access to food, and like the golf carts, and like the bathrooms, because like the normal people and the normal tickets, like, they just had porta potties to use. Like, we had like air conditioned trailers that had like real bathrooms and toilets that flushed, and like sinks and everything. Like, we had air conditioned like rooms, and then we also had like giant fans that blew out mist. Like, we had our own merch booths and everything. Like, it's night and day. And so I feel like for the comfort, I would never not go VIP. But that's just kind of like my general recap, I guess. I also wanted to talk about artists that I didn't see but wish I did, although I think I kind of touched on that as I was talking. But I kind of do wish I saw Lizzie McAlpine with my friend. Labyrinth was good, but I heard great things about her set through my friend. And then also, like I said, Benson Boone, and Flo that I missed due to chicken wings, and Megan Thee Stallion, and Daniel Seavey. I didn't make his because he was so early in the day and I had my conference to go to, but I used to be a big Why Don't We fan, and so I wanted to check him out. And then I saw some of Renee Rapp, but I wish I had seen more of Renee Rapp. And I saw Blue the Tiger, but I wrote down that I wish that I had seen her regular set. And then obviously SZA and The Killers. And I really wish I saw Future, but that was on them. They were late. That was them. Like, they were like a whole 30 minutes late. Like, that's terrible. But anyways, as a headliner, I'm not going to go on about that. Things that I learned. As I said, I think VIP. I learned that if I go to a music festival, it must be VIP. The other thing that I learned is that Grant Park is humongous. I think I looked at the maps and everything and underestimated how big everything was going to be, and how you literally cannot do everything. Like, I didn't go to like most of the pop-ups and like free giveaway stuff that they had because I never even saw it. Like, it was on a completely other side. What I didn't realize when I was coming in and out is that there's like one lane. I don't know how to describe it because it's a park, but like Bud Light stage and T-Mobile, and then the fountain is in the center. And you can see that. I was just walking that. But then if you go over to the right, or if you go over to the left, there's another big lane to go down of stuff there. And I did not know that. Even looking at the map, like, I just thought I was going to run into all of that stuff. But no, it's like, it's humongous. I mean, the park itself, like from one end to the other, is like a mile. But then on the sides, it's also huge. But I will say that planning ahead is probably the most helpful thing that you can do when you're attending a music festival like this. Obviously, like, I planned my sets and who I wanted to see, and then I worked with my friend and like who we wanted to see together and who she wanted to see and stuff like that. But also just be aware that your favorite artist will be put at the same time as your other favorite artist, because there's conflicts all the time, and it's for crowd control. I get it. But there's always going to be conflicts. And then you also never know what's going to come up or what's going to happen. Like, maybe you start feeling sick like I did and have to leave early, or maybe you want to eat food and the line takes so long, they take forever to cook your chicken wings and you miss sets because of that. Very much could happen, you know. The other thing I want to talk about is safety. That's another important thing that I learned. I felt safe. I mean, there was lots of security and stuff, but I heard that it's pretty common for people to get robbed, like people's phones to get stolen and stuff. So that's another thing that if you go to a music festival, you want to keep in mind, is to always keep your stuff together. I feel like I had a false sense of safety because obviously you're never truly safe. But being in the VIP section, it was kind of like if you paid to be in VIP, I'm pretty sure you're not going to steal from me. But at the same time, I never did really let my guard down. And I always had like my bag. I took like a little clear sling bag and I always had it on my front and not on my back. And I was always either holding my phone or deep in my bag I had it. And one other thing I did is because they require clear bags, I would put like some of my personal belongings in socks. So I actually I didn't put that much in my wallet, but I did bring a wallet and I put my wallet in a sock. Because if somebody were to slip into my bag to grab something, they're not going to think to grab the sock. And I did the same thing with my camera as well. So just simple little safety precautions, I guess. But overall, I feel like I felt pretty safe. I don't know. Hopefully other people's experiences were similar, but I didn't experience any drunk high schooler boys pushing or any there were so many slight horror stories that I heard that I was like, I'm gonna have to watch my back. But it was never really that bad for me, at least. The last little notation thing, I guess, is just letting you know important things to bring, I guess. One, a hat, because it was very detrimental to me when I left my hat the first day. The second thing I brought was a fan, and I got one of those necklace fans. Not the ones that you put on your neck, but it was a chain, and then it was the fan was there. That was really good, but it broke on the first day. But then I also I probably could have used it the other days, but I kind of survived with my hat. It was either the hat or the fan. One or the other. I needed one or the other at any given time. The fan saved me while I was waiting for chaperone, because otherwise, without a fan and a hat, I wouldn't have made it. Literally would not have made it. Sunscreen is extremely important as well, so you don't get burnt up. A water bottle, obviously. I just got a plain plastic water bottle, and I used it was a liter, and I got 2 of them, and that was good for me. They have water refillable stations. I know they had them in the VIP section, but I'm pretty sure they have them just around the park, although I never saw one. That's not to say they aren't there. I'm sure they're there, but when you walk in from the VIP entrance, it's kind of far before you get to the VIP lounge, and it's kind of a hike to get into Lolla. So I would be thirsty, and I would just be looking for the regular ones, and I never saw them. But I would always just walk and walk and walk. It's a 10-minute walk to get from the entrance to get your water in the VIP section. So I was looking for the regular water, and I never saw it. But bring a water bottle so that you can stay hydrated. You don't want to fall out. I didn't even really see people fall out, although I did see medics at times, but I don't know what was wrong. But I never saw somebody physically fall out, but I know it happened. It definitely happened. It happens all the time at these types of festivals, so you don't want it to happen to you. And then I also wrote earplugs. That's important for your ears because it is loud. It's so loud. And a mask because it gets dusty. And even though I wore a mask, sometimes I would sit down sometimes to eat and I didn't have a mask on. That was probably my mistake. But because of my allergies, I would be stuffy at night and it would just clear up in the morning. But I would know it was because I was exposed to dust and maybe pollen in the grass. And I'm allergic to that really bad. I'm terrible with it. So if you're like me, you need a mask. And you also don't want to get sick. I heard of so many people getting COVID after Lollapalooza. It was so many people. And I mean, obviously, as packed as people are together. But I wore a mask when I was in the fields and stuff, and I was perfectly fine. I never got sick. So that was lucky for me. But if you don't want to get sick, then wear a mask, obviously. Also, comfy sneakers, but maybe beat up sneakers that you don't mind getting messed up. I heard a lot of people say that it was going to be super muddy. It wasn't muddy, I don't think, because it rained, I guess, but still, it's easy to mess your shoes up and all of that sandy dust and stuff. So just bring some beat up sneakers. That's what I did. And then the last thing I'll recommend bringing is a camera. I got this camera earlier this year. Gosh, I can't even think what it is. A Canon PowerShot SX740. It's a great concert camera. The zoom on it goes crazy. And I was a little bit nervous because I heard people be stealing, but I put it in my sock and I was fine. And that was the bomb because I was able to take really good pictures even from far away. That's fun. You want good memories and stuff. So definitely bring a camera. I also brought my film camera and I didn't take a single picture just because I was lazy. I don't know. I just didn't. But yeah, bring a camera, document your memories at Lollapalooza. It's going to be so fun. I guess that's all the content that I can talk about really with Lollapalooza for this episode. I mean, that was my experience. I'd say overall, I would rate the weekend like a 7 out of 10. It was really great. I wish I could have seen some people that I didn't see, and I wish I didn't get so tired. I think those are the things that I would like put down on my experience. But I really went into it like I just want to go to a music festival to experience a music festival, and then to say like that's something I did. Like, does anybody else have just like life bucket list items where you just want to like do it just because like you have an interest in it and you just want to live, you just want to do it? Like, I have it about the most stupid things. Like, I'll say like I want to audition for American Idol. I can't sing, but I'll always have the memory that that's something that I did. And like music festivals is the same thing. Like, it was kind of like, I feel like music festivals aren't like my cup of tea, but at the same time, I want to go to one to experience it. And then I did, and I came out of it like they actually are my cup of tea. I actually do enjoy these things. So I'd say I'm actually excited for future years. I think that I would definitely go back to Lollapalooza, although I don't think I will go back like right away, like next year or something like that, because I mean, Chicago's kind of a hike. And also, since Lollapalooza was my first music festival, I kind of want to try out some others instead. And it also is just dependent on the lineup. Like, I've heard some names be thrown around about who could potentially come and do like music festival runs, but it's usually like the same set of people for all of these fests. So like, it's probably going to be fine. It'll probably be people that I like no matter where I go. But I mean, maybe Bonnaroo is for me next year, or maybe Governor's Ball. I'm going to get to Governor's Ball one year. I always say I want to go to Gov Ball, and I'll go one year. That's probably easiest for me to manage doing since it's just in New York. But yeah, I'm going to go to music festivals more often now because this was a lot of fun. But that's my little recap of Lollapalooza weekend. Thanks for listening to this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, go tell your friends and make sure you let me know by leaving a review and following this podcast. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this is the season finale of the podcast. I will be back by the end of the year, maybe October or November. Like, it could be really soon. I don't know. I need to prep some things. And I know this sounds far away, but I'll just be producing a lot of the stuff for the next season in advance. I promise it will be worth the wait. And I also might do some one-off episodes in between our little break if there's like something interesting in pop culture that's happening that I want to talk about. Like, I know in the next few months, awards season is going to ramp back up with the VMAs and the Emmys. And then personally, I've got some exciting things planned. Like, I might be seeing Billie Eilish on tour. I'm definitely seeing Taylor Swift on tour. And I'm going to Disney World again, which, speaking of those last two things, I'm going to round 2 of the Eras tour and Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, and I'm still very indecisive about what I'm going to wear to either of those. So if anyone wants to help me with costumes and outfit ideas, please do. Please let me know. But yeah, I just have a lot of fun things planned coming up anyways. So those would be like one-off episodes if I do them, not to like a specific schedule or anything, but you'll just get them. Like, I'll just spawn and be like, hey, here's a bonus episode about me going to the Eras tour while we're in between seasons. And it's just like for fun. The things that will stay consistent, though, are our Pop Recap newsletter that will come out every Sunday. We're not going on a break with that. It's no spam. It's free. It's fun. I write about interesting entertainment news, even the stuff that I may not mention on this podcast. So you can stay up to date with everything that you need to know in the entertainment world. You know you want to subscribe. Last week, I actually even did a first special edition of the newsletter on Lollapalooza. So they got it first, and you should check it out. You can subscribe at poprecap.beehive.com. And remember, it's BEEHIIV. I'll also still remain active on social media during our mini break, just sharing my favorite news, memes, and vlogs from some of the stuff that I mentioned that I'll be up to. So that's at Fan Fave Media. So yeah, stick around. Thank you all for listening, and I will see you soon.